All right. Our coach speaker for today has had an incredible journey so far. He started coaching 8 years ago. He's been an elite coach 5 times. And in 2013, he was in the top 10. He's also been a premier coach. He's kind of done every rank here, every achievement. But more importantly, he's achieved Success Club 102 months in a row. That to me is the most impressive, because that means his consistency in helping others get results is continuous. He has been on our stage so many times, speaking in so many capacities, overcoming limiting beliefs, speaking in Spanish, teaching the comp plan in Spanish. That's not easy. Helping our coaches in the UK. And he also sponsored our grand prize winning coach this year at this year's summit for achieving in the Beachbody Challenge contest. So everybody, here he is from Idaho Falls, Idaho, Scottie Hobbs. Let's get your sound on there, Scottie.
All right, we're ready to go now.
We are definitely ready. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to go right in. So for those who don't know you, Scottie, give us a little bit of your story. And as I mentioned to you earlier, Scottie, the way that you tell your story is also a learning for people who are watching or listening on how your story has developed over time. So take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. And I enjoy telling my story because it's just who I am and who I'm becoming. So that's what connects with people most. I want to just start out by reiterating first and foremost what Sandy said about listening to the recognition. One of the things when I started as a brand new coach, I listened to every single national wake-up call, and I envisioned my name being announced as one of those diamond coaches. And so as I listen to those each week, it does the same for me and my belief of, you know, if there's 60 diamond coaches being announced, I just think like, man, there's people out there, there's people on my team right now, and I just envision and seeing them being announced on the national wake-up call. So I want you guys to do that yourselves. So I want to start with my story. I began with P90X back in 2010. I was introduced to it by a friend and a neighbor. He simply was new to the neighborhood, knocked on my door and said, hey, you're my age. I have 2 little girls. You have 2 little girls. I'm just looking to meet some new friends. And he came in and he was just this jacked dude. He had like his biceps popping out of his shirt and just super fit and energetic. And I was a little overweight, chubby, super shy, I wasn't very confident in myself. And I just remember asking him, dude, you have 2 little girls and you're my age and I have 2 little girls. How come I look like this and you look like that? And he said, dude, I just work out and I eat healthy. And I was like, dude, can you help me? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he actually was the strength coach for the high school football team. So he invited me to come to the gym with them. Unfortunately, at this time, I was working from 5 a.m. in the morning till 5 p.m. at night. And they trained at 6 a.m. So I told him, I can't come to the gym. Do you have anything else I could do? And he said, you should do that P90X workout. So what I did is I committed to 90 days of P90X. I printed out the meal plan, I got the DVDs, and I committed and went all in. In 90 days, I lost 38 pounds, and I had abs, I had this new energy, I had stopped drinking energy drinks, I learned to start eating a little bit cleaner, and I just felt really good. And what happened is people saw that energy in me. They saw a different person. And so they're like, dude, what's got into you? What are you doing? Like, how do you have so much energy? And I see you're running on lunch now versus sleeping in your car. And so like, what are you doing? And I just told them, no, I did this P90X workout. You should do it. You should try it. You should try Insanity. And I fell in love with telling people about these programs. And I just remember this job I had. I go in at 5, I get home at 5 p.m. And I remember walking up my stairs to my cubicle every day. I would kind of like have a little bit of dread. I was grateful for my job, but when I opened my Facebook or my email to see somebody say like, hey, Scottie, I dropped a dress size, or hey, I notched another hole in my belt, I fell in love with that process. I fell in love with helping people. So I don't know about you guys, but I envisioned when Gabby and I got married that we would live this life where I work hard, I have a great career, and then I would come home at 4 or 5 p.m. We would have dinner together. We'd sit down with our kids, pray, eat dinner, and then we would go out and take a walk, ride bikes, play sports. That's what I envisioned. But unfortunately for us, that didn't happen. And I ended up having to work 12-hour days, take all the overtime I could, working 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then I would work on every single Saturday from 7 a.m. until 11 a.m. And my wife was working at nights at the Hilton Garden Inn. So she would go into work at 3 and she would get home at about, she'd get off 11, she'd get home at about 11:30. So I literally only saw her 2 nights a week. And so I just remember like thinking like, this has got to end sometime. And I just envisioned that better life. And so I finished P90X, like I told you guys. I got up every 3:30, did P90X, got to work at 5. And I remember talking with my coach, and she's like, Scottie, you would be a great coach. Like, you love the programs, you're helping people. But I told her no. I was like, not for me. I'm not going to do it. And the real reason that I want you guys to understand is that I was afraid of a lot of things. Like, I dropped out of college and a lot of other, we would call failures, but I had no social media experience or presence. I was super quiet, introverted, all of these different things. And I just thought, it's not for me. It's not for me. Good for you, but that's not for me. And I'm afraid of what my friends might think if I try to sell them something. And of course, and obviously I thought, like, I don't have enough time to do that. Like, I'm working 12 hours. I come home exhausted. I pick up my 3 little kids under the age of 5, and I take care of them on my own while my wife's at work, feed them, bathe them, put them to bed. And then at the time I would sit down and play Call of Duty and drink beer. That was my life. And then I wake up again and do it all over. But I remember thinking, I just don't have enough time to do that thing. I can't commit to something like that. And I was even afraid to commit to paying the coach business fee of $15.95. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to make that money back, and it obviously at the time didn't fit into our budget. That's why we were working 12-hour days and my wife working nights. So there was something that happened that shifted. It was April 11th, which was 23 days after the birth of my 3rd daughter. And I remember waking up, just heading to work just a little before 5. I had this habit of picking up the mail at our lockbox at the end of our cul-de-sac. And I would pick up the mail, put it in my lunchbox, go to work. And then right when I would get there, I'd throw all the junk mail away. I'd open the mail and I would sort the bills, because this life is so busy that we have, that I would do my spreadsheets and all of the bills at my lunch break at work. So I put it in there. But that morning as I opened the bills, it had like our Blue Cross insurance statement. It had our hospital bill. It had the doctor bill. It had the anesthesiologist bill. There was like an ear doctor bill. And I remember sitting there that morning as I read and looked at those numbers, and I just felt this overwhelming weight on my shoulders. Like, I felt like the whole entire world was on my shoulders, and I felt like my cubicle was spinning around, and it wouldn't stop. And I don't know if you guys have felt like that before, but I was scared. And I began to think these things like, do I have to go back to school? Do I have to get a better job and start over? Do I have to get a second full-time job? Or does my wife have to get a full-time job during the day and not work the night shift? And then that's going to make it so that someone else has to raise our kids versus her raising them in the day and me at night. And I went home at night, and that feeling just continued, of this weight on my shoulders and being scared. And I want you guys to know that night I signed up as a coach. And the reason is because I realized this coach opportunity has been on my lap this whole time. For the past 8 months that I've been telling my coach, no, this is not for me. That's awesome what you're doing, but it's not for me. And that night I signed up as a coach. And the reason is because my fear of not knowing how to provide for my family became greater than my fear of failing as a coach. So I set some goals, and my goal was to earn $10,000 a year as a coach, because $10,000 a year meant that I could replace my wife's income at the hotel, working the front desk. She made about $12,000, and we paid about $2,000 in babysitter. So I figured if I made $10,000, she could come home from that job. And I was willing to still work 12-hour days and every Saturday. I would just build this business at night. She could be at home, and we would be able to sit down and eat dinner together as a family and spend our time together versus living these separate lives. And so I made that decision, and I told my coach, I need to make this $10,000 in a year. And she told me, I can't promise you $10,000, but I promise that your income will be a direct reflection of the number of lives that you change. So guys, that's the day that I made the decision. I'm going to help change as many people's lives as I possibly can, so that we can spend our time together as a family. And I believe that these programs work. I believe that they would transform people's lives if they followed the program and did the meal plan and had the support of a coach. So guys, I went all in that day. I had to sell my Xbox and my Wii to cover my $40 sign-up fee and my first bag of Shakeology. And I made a decision that day that I would stay committed to helping people change their lives through these programs and through the coach opportunity. So that is how I got started with that pure commitment to earning $10,000 in a year. And that equaled or meant that I would have my family together at nights and we could live that life that I imagined and I dreamed of doing. So why am I speaking on this topic today about how I plan on beating my best and how can you beat your best? Is what I want you guys to know is as I started that journey, I joined a challenge very similar to the Beat Your Best challenge 2 months into my journey. I had hit Success Club 10 for my first 2 months. That was my goal. And I love this new coach training that we have, the new coach onboards training system we have. It's like under 30 minutes because just so you guys can understand me, I didn't go through the coach training academy. I immediately started telling people my story of P90X, that I could help them achieve their goals, whatever that goal was, and that we were going to do this together. And helping them meant that I could bring my wife home from work. So I was very committed to that. And so when the company announced the challenge that, beat your best with your Success Club points and team up with other coaches, I had hit that Success Club 10 for 2 months. And what that means, Success Club 10, for those of you that are new, is it means you help 5 people get started with a challenge pack. So I had a goal of hitting Success Club 10 for 12 months. And during this contest, I went all in with the accountability of my coach and some other members of the team. And I achieved Success Club 36, which means I helped 18 people get started on their journey. And during that time of helping 18 people get started during that month, I also advanced my business to the rank of diamond. So what being in this contest did for me and helping 18 people in 1 month is it helped me understand that if I could hit Success Club 36, help 18 people in 1 month, that it built my belief that I could hit Success Club 10 or help 5 new people every single month. So it created a new belief and a new standard for what was possible for me. And like Sandy shared, we've been able to now hit Success Club 10 for a consecutive 102 months. And it all started with going all in on that challenge and doing the best I could during that month. So I want to share with you 3 things that I did during that challenge as a brand new coach, only 3 months into my business. Well, at the end of my 2 months. So the first thing that I did is I was being more bold on my social media with my story and why I wanted to help others. I told that April 11th story of 23 days after having our 3rd daughter and the day that I signed up to every single person that I talked to. I told that story to everybody. I was bold and confident about it on social media and in person. When people are like, hey, why did you, what are you doing? How are you seeing those results? Where did you get that energy from? I told them about P90X and I told them that story and I invited them to come on the journey with me. The second thing that I did during that time is I was sharing the progress of my first clients and also other members of our team. So I'm going to show you guys a picture right here. This picture on the left is one of my first clients named Lisa, and she lost 70 pounds with Turbo Fire. So I was sharing photos like Lisa's and talking about her journey, why she got started and what she was able to accomplish inside of our challenge group. And as Sandy mentioned over here on the right, this is more recently with Chris, who won the Beachbody Challenge, one of my customers. I'm still doing today what I was doing back then of sharing their transformations and what it is doing for their life. But what I want to help you guys understand is kind of dissect what showing those pictures and telling a story does. A story, when you tell a story about someone's transformation or about your transformation, what it's doing is the people that are reading that story or hearing that story, they can see themselves in that transformation or in that story. And they begin to believe that it's possible for them, that those results are possible for them. And sharing those stories as well, sharing those pictures and how they're changing their lives, creates social proof that other people are doing this and not just you. It helps connect the dots of the person that's hearing the story, your audience, the people on your social media, the person you're talking to one-on-one, of how they can get from where they currently are in their life through the struggle of what they're currently facing and to their end goal of where they want to be. So being super bold about sharing progress photos and the progress of your clients and other members of your team is going to be so vital. One thing I want you guys to know, as a brand new coach, I was a brand new coach when I went into that challenge, is I shared the results of other coaches and other challengers inside of our bigger team page. So what I want you guys to think about when we talk about this step is learn to be a story collector. And so one thing that I did back then and that I still do today is whenever I see a transformation in the team page, in a challenge group on social media, I send them a private message and I say, hey, your transformation is inspirational. It's absolutely awesome to see what you've done. I would love to share that journey with my friends or share that story with my friends. Could you answer these 3 questions for me and be willing to let me share your photo? And the question, how was your life before you got started? 2, how is your life transformed, or how are things different from you since starting? And number 3, why are you on this journey? Why is it important for you to stay healthy and continue on this journey? So I want you to think about that. Be a story collector. Collect stories and begin sharing those stories with your audience on social media. Yes,
Hey,
Sam.
Scottie?
Yeah.
Will you repeat those 3 again? Because you cut out a tiny bit. So repeat those 3.
Absolutely. So the 3 questions that when I send over to someone when I see transformation is, number 1, how did you feel before starting your journey? What was your life like before starting? Number 2, how do you feel now? How is your life, or how has your life changed? And then number 3, why are you going to continue on this journey? Why is it important for you to stay healthy and continue on this healthy lifestyle journey? So those are the 3 questions. The last thing that I want to share with you that I did in the beginning was I was very direct with my close family members and my close friends. So I was a brand new coach 2 months in, and during this time, both of my parents and my sister signed up as coaches and started drinking Shakeology themselves during that month. I basically said to them, hey, this is what drinking Shakeology and doing P90X has done for me. I know it can help you. And if you're ever going to try it out for yourself, I encourage you to do it this month and help me out with this contest. So I was just very direct with them. Like, I knew this would change their life, and I knew they were going to do it one day. And I just encouraged them to do it now and told them exactly why. I was very straightforward with that. And remember, so these are the 3 things that I did during that second month. And I want you guys to remember, I was intentional about participating in the challenge and doing my very best. And I think it's time for you guys to decide to do that for yourselves. So the next thing I want to kind of transition into is, those were the things I did as a brand new coach. So what am I going to plan to do this month to beat my best? And what I want to do is kind of break down what beating your best means and then the steps that I'm going to take. So doing your best as contest means that if your best month last year, as Kevin explained at the beginning of this National Wake Up Call, if your best was helping 2 people or hitting Success Club 4, you need to help more people and beat that number in the month of October. So the first step that you need to do is know what your number is and make the decision to earn the gold. So make the decision, understand what your number is, and make the decision to earn the gold. So let's talk about how this works. So I received an email, you guys did too, and it tells you what your best Success Club month was from the last year. My best Success Club month was 24. So this means I need to help 12 people get into a challenge pack to tie what my best was last year. If I want to get the gold, I need to help 17 people. Helping 15 people would mean getting the silver. Helping 13 people would mean getting the bronze. So to get the bronze, you need to help 1 more person than last year. To get the silver, you need to help 2 more people than you did last year. And to earn the gold, you need to help 5 more people, or Success Club 10 more Success Club points to get the gold. So how do you calculate that? You are awarded 2 Success Club points for every challenge pack, whether it's a coach or customer sign up, or a new home direct order of 90 personal volume points. That could be Shakeology, the Beachbody Performance Line with Energize or Recover, or 3 boxes of beach bars. So you need to decide, figure out what your number was last year and make the decision to beat it this year. The second part of that contest is with your volume. So my email said your personal volume selling best was 19,295. And to beat your best in the volume, you need to have 250 more volume points to get the bronze, 500 points to get the silver, or 1,000 points to get the gold. And to help you guys briefly understand what volume is, every product in the Beachbody catalog has personal volume attached to it. The PV, personal volume it comes from 3 places. Your personal, for this contest, from your personal orders, the orders of your customers, and the orders of any of your personally sponsored coaches. They'll all be added up, and measured against your best volume from the past. So if you're a brand new coach and you have never sold a product and you have zero volume, your best would be to have 250, your bronze would be 250, your silver would be 500, and your gold would be 1,000 or better. So that's the first step to do, is know what your number is to be and decide to get the gold. Step number 2, get accountability from other people. Now, this could be from finding success partners, team members inside of your team page, or reaching out to your upline or your sponsor coach. And what I want you guys to think about when you're doing this is find people with similar goals and values. Don't wait to be asked. Don't wait for someone to say, hey, will you team up with me and do this? This is your business, and you need to take the reins of your business and make the decision that you're going to make this happen. And this is the chance, the opportunity to really create momentum and show yourself what you're made of. So get proactive. Go inside of your team page and ask, like, who is going to earn the gold this month? Find out who those people are, team up with them for accountability and to share ideas. And what you could do is create a message thread, chat with each other, share each other with ideas. One thing we did in that second month I was a coach, we were texting each other. And every time someone sold a package or recruited a coach, they said it. And it made me responsible and accountable to saying, like, man, I need to pull my part and do what I need to do. So get accountability. That's step 2. Step number 3, this is one of the most important, and every new coach should do this, and even the veteran coaches, is to continue to do this, is write a list of everyone you know and that could benefit from what we have with Team Beachbody. And what I want you guys to do with that list, after you write out the names of every single person, and I'm going to give you a number. Start out with writing a list of 100 people. Next thing I want you guys to do is every single day add 10 people to that list throughout the month of this challenge. And then start reaching out to them and begin starting conversations with them. And really think about who are the people that you can help. And guys, I want this to really sink in. Do not overlook anybody. Do not count anybody out. And to briefly share this in less than 1 minute, before I started P90X, if you were to look at me, I guarantee you would say, that guy would never make a great coach. That guy, that's not the tribe. That's not the guy that I want, because I'm working 12-hour days. I don't talk to anybody in our neighborhood. I literally shoot out the garage at 4:45 in the morning, come home at 5. The garage shuts. I'm inside all day. And you'd probably be in the mindset of like, that guy's like, he's working all the time. And then I think all he does at night when his wife's at work is play Call of Duty and drink beer. You'd be like, that's not my people, right? But people can change. And doing a program like we have with P90X or Insanity or the 6 weeks of the work or the Morning Meltdown 100 can completely change somebody's life. So I'm going to guide you guys through 4 questions that I want you to think about. You guys can type it out on the Facebook Live if you're watching, and just answer yes if you agree to what I'm sharing with you, so that you guys can understand who to put on this list and who are the people that add to this list every day as you add 10 people to that list, and who you should start inviting to join you in your challenge group or in your team. Number 1, and answer these questions for me. Number 1, if somebody follows our meal plans, does our workouts, and drink Shakeology, will their life improve? And I want you to comment yes if you agree with that. Question number 2, if somebody reads personal development books and they are growing themselves and listening to podcasts and expanding their skills and their mindset and the belief in themselves, will their life improve? Yes or no? And the third question, if somebody gets accountability from a friend and they have someone checking in on them, and they have someone that believes in them, and they have someone that is checking on them when they are not showing up, and they have that friend, will their life improve? Yes or no? And including in that, not just one person, but an entire tribe or community of people. Number 4 question, if somebody stops thinking only about themselves and starts pouring energy into serving and helping other people, by making new friendships, by building relationships with people, by supporting others and lifting up other people instead of only thinking about themselves, will their life improve? Yes or no? And as we wrap up and look at those 4 questions, then we can think, who are the people then that we should invite into our challenge groups and into our team if it's true that all 4 of those answers are yes, that it will change someone's lives? And the answer is simply everybody. Everybody's life can be changed through our challenge groups or through the coach opportunity. And we should think of this as a gift that can completely change their life, and be bold and confident in sharing that with them. So that's step number 3. Write out your list of 100 people, add to that list 10 people every single day. Step number 4 of what I'm going to do and what I think you guys should do is start these people with anything. As you're starting these conversations and making invites, obviously the best solution for them is to get into a Beachbody challenge pack with Beachbody on Demand and Shakeology or the Performance line. But people are going to have objections. People are not going to be ready to fully commit right now. And that's totally okay. It took me 8 months to get started as a coach and telling my coach no every single month. What I want you guys to understand is that it's important to get their foot in the door. And what you can do is add value to them. I'm always, if someone tells me, no, I don't have money, now's not the right time, I don't drink shakes, all of these things, I'm getting them started with something. And it may even just be reading a book like The Slight Edge, or reading a book like The Compound Effect. And what I do is I work on those, and I work on getting them into a trial, a 14-day free trial of Beachbody on Demand, or a 3-month membership. And then what I do is I show them the value by checking in on them and having them experience the program. And then what you can do is you can upgrade them into purchasing Shakeology Home Direct or the Beachbody Performance line. And that you could even do in a month's time by putting the tension and energy into helping them see results and see the value of joining your challenge group and having you as a coach. So that can help you with this challenge as well. And if it doesn't help you during this month, it will help you in the months that will come. Step number 5, follow up with past no's. So you want to reach out to the people in the past. And one thing that I do, so I have an entire list of every single person that has told me no, or has even told me yes. They told me how much weight they want to lose, but then they never follow through. I put them in a check-in with them later. And during contests like this, that's the ideal time for me to reach out to them. And I just reach out and say, I look at the message, our previous message on Facebook or via text. I say, hey, it's been about 12 months since we last talked about your goal of losing 50 pounds. And I want you to know that we're running a group this month. And if you're interested, I don't know if now is a better time, but I was thinking about you, and I wanted to see if you want to start with us on October 15th. Let me know if you're ready, and we'll talk. And I just reach out and I say that because that's something that my coach did to me every single month. I continued to tell her no, but at that time, that was just a few weeks after the birth of my daughter, it was the right time, and she was there ready to help me. So make that commitment to be there for the long haul, but also to make follow-ups. A quick example of this, I like to share stories, is we've lived in this home for 12 years. And we mounted a swamp cooler on the back window when we first moved in because we didn't have very much money. I bought a swamp cooler on Craigslist, put it in the back window. And this year, finally, my wife's like, hey, let's put central air in our house. So we asked for referrals. We got a number. A guy came, gave us a quote, told us everything that would be involved. And we said, told us the price. And Gabby and I said, all right, we'll take it. When can you install it? And he said, I'm pretty booked right now. I can install it in 3 to 4 weeks. And I said, put us on the list and we'll do it. Guys, what happened? It is October 7th and we still don't have an air conditioning unit in our house. And we were willing to spend $4,000 to $5,000 to put AC in. But this guy never reached back out to us and followed through with his word. He never followed up with us. So guys, I guarantee that many of you guys have reached out and invited people over the past month, 2 months, 1 year that are ready and they're just waiting for you to follow up with them. So guys, remember this to help you remember step 5. The fortune is in the follow-up. Next, get on the phone. One of the things I do is I get on the phone with 2 prospects a day. And these come from those 10 conversations that I start. And I don't want you to overthink this phone call. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to say on the phone call. But what I do during a phone call, I want you to remember it's not about all the details you give about Shakeology or all the workout programs and how the meal plan works exactly. People are going to remember more how you made them feel over exactly what you said. So I spend the majority of that call asking questions to understand their life, what they want, what their goals and dreams are, what it's going to feel like them to achieve their goals, whether that's with our fitness challenge or as a coach. And then I just tell them my story of April 11th, 2011 in less than 2 minutes. And I say, you should do this with me. When do you want to get started? So get on the phone immediately with prospects. That works the best for me. I encourage you to try it. Step number 7 is ask for referrals. When somebody tells you no, I always ask them, do you know anybody that is looking for help? Or you could look to people that you've helped in the past and you can ask them, hey, do you know anybody that would like to join you on your next challenge? So let's say you just helped someone through 21 Day Fix. You could ask them, hey, Susie, do you have any friends that you think would benefit from being in this group and doing a program like that you would like to go through the next program with you? And ask for referrals. Step number 8, when somebody shows interest, this one is one of the most important things that's helped me in my business. When somebody shows interest and says, I'm interested in that challenge, or I'm interested in, I need to lose 30 pounds. I drop everything on my to-do list and I try to call them or get them on the phone or walk them through getting started. So an example, and that's going to take you guys making the decision to do the things that are uncomfortable that are going to bring you the most results. And as a brand new coach, you should be spending 90% of your time talking to these people, making the invites, and following up with them. So an example, Saturday night, we spent all day at a kid's birthday party. We did soccer games. We drove home like an hour from this party and I was exhausted. My wife and daughters went to a women's conference for our church. The little kids immediately ran outside and played soccer with their friends. I wanted to lay on the couch and read a book. And I opened up my Facebook and I saw a text of someone that I had been talking to, one of these 10 people a day, that said, hey, I'm ready to schedule our call. And everything about me wanted to say, schedule the call for Monday. But I made that decision because he said, I'm ready for our phone call. I made the decision to drop everything right there, get off the couch and take a walk. And I had that phone call with him. So that's what I plan on. Those are the 8 steps that I plan on doing to beat my best this month, and doing those things that are uncomfortable. So,
Scottie,
yes.
I'm going to stop you for a second because whoa. Thank you so much. You know what? I want to deconstruct this a tiny bit. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy was an introvert and he still calls himself an introvert. But the way that you're talking right now does not show at all that you are fearful of talking to people. So I also want to mention something that you said. You're still doing today what you were doing day one as a coach. You're a story collector, and stories come from getting people a transformation and results. And I love Scottie for doing this, because every time he's got an incredible result from someone on his team, he forwards it to us at corporate, like, we got to use this person. We got to shout it from the rooftops. And that is exactly what Carl does too. If any of you follow Carl Deichler, he is constantly getting back to the root of Beachbody, which is getting people results, helping people with their transformations. So I appreciate all of that. Another thing that I wrote up, well, anyway, this was incredible. When you sent me your script, I was like, oh, he's got like 8 little points. I didn't realize that you were giving people, like, this is coaching 101. And the 411 page is lighting up right now with people who have more questions. So maybe after this call, you can go back in there and answer some questions, because this was a really, really great information. Excellent. But to end the call, I'd like to take you to this personal fulfillment section of the script. And that is your 8-year journey, where you are today. Is there something that you'd like to share about how rewarding coaching has been for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I could go for an hour on this, but we'll make it like 5 minutes. So I just want to start by saying, you were mentioning that I'm an introvert naturally. What I want you guys to understand and know is that it was more important for me to create this life for myself and for my family than to stay this person who is shy and afraid of being judged and just insecure. It was more important for me to grow into a confident person than it was to stay in that place. So I want you to think about that in your life. So as I've shared with you guys, my original goal was to be able to bring my wife home from working that night shift at the Embassy Suites Hotel and replace her income of $12,000. I was willing to still work 12-hour days and every Saturday. That my big goal and my big dream was to bring her home and have that family time together. So I had to set goals, I had to make sacrifices, and I had to work hard so that we'd be able to spend that time together as a family. And I didn't say, like, I hope this works, or I'm going to give this a shot. I'll give this a year or two and see if it works. I said to myself, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to create this life and build this business. I made a solid decision. And what I want you guys to know is I built this business working a 12-hour job. I would come home to raise 3 little girls under the age of 5. My first week as a coach, my youngest daughter was 6 weeks old. So I would come home exhausted from working as a steel factory, with my wife at work, and I would play with these 3 little girls under the age of 5. I would feed them dinner. I would bathe them, change the dirty diapers, listen to national wake-up calls and the team calls as recordings. I would put them to bed, and then I would work 7 nights a week, 3 to 4 hours a night. And then I would get up and I would do it all over again. And I remember about 7 months into my journey, you know, I'd hit the Success Club 10 for 7 months, and I'm enthusiastic. I love sharing my story. I love seeing people transform, but I'm tired and I'm exhausted. And when you're tired and exhausted, your emotions overcome you and you can make decisions. But something happened that pushed me through. And I want to share that with you because it's why I'm here today, still showing up, trying to beat my best, even today, 8 years later. I had gotten what's called the man cold. And you guys know what this is, especially the women. It's where your man nearly dies for a week. And it's something we get that the women don't get. And I remember I'd slept. I was home from work. I was missing work. I was sleeping all day. It was 3 days that I missed work. And it was a Friday. And I remember my wife saying, Scottie, you should get up, shower, get dressed. How about you go get Kina from the school bus? She was about 5 years old. And so I got up, showered, got dressed, and I go out the front door, and we live in the very back of a cul-de-sac. So I'm walking down the cul-de-sac. The bus comes to the end of the cul-de-sac. And as I'm walking down the cul-de-sac, I'm about halfway, and the school bus pulls up. And I remember the sound of the brakes and the squeaking sound that school buses make, and the stop sign flipping out, and the doors open. And then I see this little girl, 5 years old, grab the handrails to take her first step down these stairs that seem too big for her. And she looks up at me, and this smile comes across her face as she sees her daddy. And it breaks me down. Like, I stop walking and tears stream down my face. And in that moment, I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, like, how many of these moments have I missed? Like, my daughter's never seen me pick her up from the school bus before. Like, how many of these moments have I missed in the first 5 years of her life? And how many moments will I continue to miss if I don't push through this pain and continue to help other people? And I remember at that moment, it's where you, like, they say that the 2 greatest days of your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. And that day, I realized that I didn't want to miss any more days of my kids' lives, that I wanted to be in complete control of my time and how I spent that and who I spent that time with. And so I also had another moment where I realized that if I could do this, an ex-cocaine addict, alcoholic, college dropout, introvert, like, if I could do this, I could teach, mentor, inspire anybody how to build this business. And so that's when I really found out that this was my purpose, and that's what helped me push through that painful and difficult and challenging time, is because I wanted so badly to create that life where I would never miss any moment in their life. And so what I want you guys to know is 7.5 years later, or 7.5 years ago, my wife and I both left our full-time jobs to be fully present in our families' lives. And I like to say that I'm a full-time parent, and we're a full-time family, and a part-time Beachbody coach. And I believe with all of my heart that had I not pushed through the pain and the growth I needed to grow myself personally and to grow the team that we have, that Gabby and I wouldn't have had our 2 sons that came afterwards. Our 2 sons, Caleb and Malik, were born after we left our full-time jobs, because had I not pushed through that pain and grew myself in this team, we wouldn't have been able to afford raising 2 more kids. And for that, I'm so grateful for this opportunity that Beachbody gives us to represent this company, these products, and to completely transform our health and fitness for the long haul, but also to do that for other people. And that's all I have to share with you guys today.
Wow. That story gets me absolutely every time I hear it. And the affirmation that I have today pretty much emerged from that story. And that is, choose your own path. And that's exactly what you did. You decided that you had to push through the hard moments to choose your own path. And now with that story of you having 2 more kids after you left your full-time jobs, I have a feeling there's going to be some pregnancies coming out of it.
Don't blame me.
Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. Scottie, thank you so much. This was such a enriching call and perfect for right now with 6 weeks of the work and with Beat Your Personal Best. You were able to weave everything together and share with this audience what it takes to push through the difficult times. So I thank you. Thank you so much. And coaches, you're going to want to listen or watch this again. So right when I hang up, it's going to be live and you can watch it again. And Scottie's going to go back to the 411 page and answer some of your questions. And wow, everybody, I started this call by saying that fear is not what's stopping you. It's your mental state. You get cozy, you get comfortable, and you don't want to push through the hard stuff. But as you can see, Scottie pushed through a lot of hard stuff, and you can too. And there are people like Scottie in your life that need you, that need your help. That's it for me today, everybody. Have a great week. I'll see you here next week. Bye-bye.